It's always so much fun to come out to Red Pig Tools with Bob Denman, and I see that we have some rakes, so I guess we're talking about all kinds of rakes.
Yep, this is the kind of rakes that are still available. There used to be many more kinds.
Really?
They all go back to this kind of rake right here, which is still made, and it's a rake for raking hay. When you would cut hay down with a scythe, you would have to rake it up into windrows to dry. And you rake it like this. They have wood tines. The wood tines, unlike the metal tines, don't tend to grab the ground as much. So they slide through, and they're pretty slick. I just did that the other day out in my pasture.
And lots of metal rakes, all different widths. So
these rakes right in here, these are, they come in a wide variety of widths. They're all steelhead rakes. And there are three basic kinds. Curved tines with a socket in the middle. Flat tines that have a tang, and then this is a bow rake with the curved tines that come up from either end, are anchored on either end and come up into the middle. That is the most common type of rake in the United States, and you can generally get that rake in just two sizes, 14 tine or 16 tine. These rakes here, the other four rakes are rakes that I bring in from Spain. There's one over there that I make myself. And these rakes are always used for moving dirt and for harrowing dirt. You're pulling it through to find the dirt when you're preparing a bed. They come from 20 tines, 16, 14, 12. There's an 8 tine there, and we have them in other widths down to about 6 tines, from 20 down to 6. My favorite are the flat tine rakes like this, because when you have a flat tine, when you're firming up the bed, you have a nice smooth surface, where when you take a rake that has curves to the tines, it's giving you kind of a scalloped surface, and which is fine if you carefully leave it lighter right over the seed row, but that's pretty hard to do. So this gives you, and these tines are a bit longer and heavier. I like heavy rakes because they work you, it's easier for you than a light rake. Because the light rake, you have to push down into the ground as you pull, and the heavy rakes, gravity does part of the work.
Oh, it makes it a little bit easier. Yeah, that makes sense. Well, I've never seen any of these, so these are very cool.
Now, these are specialty rakes that I brought out, and this particular one right here is a daisy rake. And in a lot of the world, daisies and other annual plants are weeds. And you pull this through the grass, and it yanks those out, leaving the grass behind, but it'll take those broadleaf weeds out of your lawn.
Well, that sounds nice.
This one right here is a thatching rake, and this is pulled through heavy grass that tends to thatch, such as Bermuda grass, and you pull through, and as you go back, you keep it on the ground, and as you go back, it leaves the grass, it self-cleans and leaves the grass behind for you to rake it up. If you go to warm climates, grasses are often, you grow Bermuda during the summer when it's hot, and it looks green and then you use your winter rise, and before you do that, you thatch and then overseed. This particular rake here is a grading rake, and it's very light, made out of aluminum, and it's should be called a finish grading rake, and the reason for it, having a very light head, is that if you're using one of these big heavy rakes and you need to just glide across the ground, you have to lift it slightly or take weight off of it, where with this one, it has very little weight, so you don't have to be lifting something that's far away from your body.
Oh, that does sound good. Now these I've seen before, so I'm glad I saw some of these tools today.
These are varieties of what people would think are leaf rakes. This particular one, whenever you see a wire tine rake, it's not a leaf rake, it's a thatching rake. It's a European-style thatching rake. They thatch frequently. We use this heavy-duty thatching rake in the United States because we tend to thatch only once in a while. But they thatch all the time, and so they use these wire tine rakes. If you use that on leaves, it'll spear a lot of leaves and leave a lot of them behind. These are leaf rakes. Two different sizes. This is called a shrub rake. It's smaller for getting in and around shrubs.
That's convenient.
This is a full-size leaf rake. Generally, they're 19, 20 inches wide. And when you're picking a leaf rake, you want to have you look for 3 distinct curves on it. A lot of them are dead flat across the front, and the tines angle outward. And because they're flat across the front, leaves tend to leak out the side when you pull, and also because the tines are angled forward. You want the angles turned back in like this, so you want the tines curved so that they're aggressive at pulling the leaves inward as opposed to letting them leak out. And the next thing you look for is this curve right here where the outer tines are down more and the inner tines are in. If you take that one that's straight across, when you push down, by the time you get tension on the outer tines, the middle tines are practically cultivating. With this rake, all the tines have equal pressure, downward pressure, so you're not tearing up part of your lawn while you're raking. And the last thing you look for is this curve right here, so that it draws the leaves inwards instead of leaking them out the side. And that's pretty much the short course on leaf rakes.
Well, you know, we always want to make things easier for us when we're out there working in our garden. And coming out to see Bob, you really can have all the tools right for you, right for your body, and right for the right job. Thanks so much. We always enjoy coming out here.
Quite welcome.